All right, second set. This time you guys will notice that the nth root is no longer a square root, it's no longer a 2. We have things like 3, 3, and 4. So for the first one, I have the cubed root of 250, but I'm still going to use the same steps. So I'm going to go ahead and break this down with the factor tree. I see a 0 at the end, so I know I can divide this by 10. So 250 can be broken down into 10 and 25. I can break down this 10 into 2 and 5, and this 25 into 5 and 5. I can't break these down anymore, so I'm going to leave it as is. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite my cubed root. Don't forget the index of root. As 2 times 5 times 5 times 5. All right, once we're done with this, I'm going to go ahead and look for groups of the nth root. So you guys will notice that since it's no longer a 2, I'm not looking for groups of 2 anymore. I'm looking for groups of 3. Well, I see a group of 3 5s over here, so I'm going to go ahead and circle that. 1, 2, 3 5s. All right, there's no more groups of 3. So from my next step, I can go ahead and pull out a 5. So again, it's the same thing. You only pull out 1 from each group. So I have a 5 on the outside. Use my radical with the 3 as my root. And on the inside, I'm left with a 2. There's nothing else for me to multiply on the outside, nothing left for me to multiply on the inside, so this is my final answer. 5 times the cube root of 2. All right, for the second one, I have the cube root of negative 40. Same thing, let's go ahead and factor it. I'm gonna go ahead and do it over here. All right, I know that, oh sorry, it's actually a negative, so this should be negative 40. All right, so I know that negative 40 can be broken down into negative 4 times 10. One of them has to be negative because when we multiply it, we need to go back to the negative up here. So over here, this can be broken down into 2 and 2, but of course, since this is negative, one of them has to be negative. And over here, I have 2 and 5. This could also be negative 2 and negative 5 because negative 2 times negative 5 gives me a positive 10. This doesn't look right though because I'm looking for a group of 3. I see the group of 3 2s over here, but notice how these two are negative, but this one isn't. So let me try something different. Over here. So instead of making this 4 a negative, let me make this one positive and make this 10 a negative. So I have 4 and negative 10. I can make this 4 into negative 2 and negative 2. And now this negative 10 I can break up into negative 2 and 5. So now look, now I have that group of negative 2s. I have a group of 3 of negative 2s. This works out. So I'm going to go ahead and cross that off. This is the way that I should have done it. So now that I have that, let me go ahead and rewrite my radical as a cube root. Don't forget that root of negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times 5. All right, circle a group of 3. Here's my group of 3. All right, once I have that, all I need to do is pull out one number from that group. So negative 2 goes on the outside. I have the cube root of 5 on the inside. No number for me to multiply on the outside, no number for me to multiply on the inside. So this is my final answer. Let's go ahead and do the last one. This time I have negative 3 times the 4th root of 162. Same thing, let's use our factor tree. It's an even number, let me go ahead and divide that by 2. So I should get 81 as the other factor. 81 times 2 gives me 162. I can break up this 81 into 9 and 9. 9 can be broken down into 3 and 3. Same thing over here. All right, and I can't break these down anymore, so I'm done factoring. So let me go ahead and rewrite this radical into a factored form. So I have the negative 3 out front. I have the radical with the 4th root, don't forget your root. And then I have 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. All right, once it's factored, let's find our group of n. So I'm looking for a group of 4. So here's my group of 4. Go ahead and circle that. On the outside, I have that -3 that was here in the beginning. And I need to pull out a 3. Don't forget to separate it with multiplication. Here's my 4th root. 2 is on the inside since it's alone. And when I simplify this, -3 times 3 gives me -9 with the 4th root of 2.